You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. We're here again for episode 46 of the Primal Armor Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be covering some of the basic concepts of nutrition for children and the challenges behind them. Nutrition is one of the hardest things to get a grasp on because eating is one of the most emotional things that we do. With these associations behind what we eat, it's very hard to make the changes that we need for a healthier lifestyle. What a lot of people associate as good food is usually because it's very flavorful, because it's packed with butter, sauces, gravy, and stuff like that. And most times, these flavorful foods taste that way because they're so unhealthy. But it tastes good, so people don't want to give that up. Because that's their association with that food, is happiness. Or you have the other people who are unhappy with how they look or how they feel, and that's especially after eating. They feel very blah or bloated, and these people have negative associations with food. So do you see how either one of these can be a problem? It's because eating is a very emotional thing, and especially for adults. So if eating's hard for you, it's even harder to help kids make these decisions. Most adults don't eat very well, so you see so many kids following in their own footsteps. But this is the most important developmental time of a kid's life. They need a balanced diet. Their brain's developing, their growth development. They have to have a balanced diet to keep that going steady. I remember my school lunches growing up. Fruit roll-ups, gushers, cosmic brownies, hostess cupcakes. And that's what fueled me to study, take tests, and play sports for hours and hours until I got home for dinner later that day. And that's just not right. Not when the brain is still developing in kids this young. And people wonder why autism and learning disorders are running rampant these days. And they have to limit things like red dyes and other crap from their kids' diets to get them to behave. It's because they're feeding their kids garbage to fuel them to live their lives. And the fact that there's red dye in foods anyway shows there's a problem. Because that is one of the most garbage snacks that people feed their kids is fruit roll-ups and gushers and stuff like that. You didn't see these disorders back 50, 60 years ago when the main diet was meat and potatoes. But now with Go-Gurts and fruit snacks that their kids are deciding that are healthier for their kid rather than chips, it's no wonder people are having these problems. Just because the snack says fruit does not mean it's healthy. So it's on you to make sure your kids are eating right. They didn't choose to come into this world. You chose to have kids. So they're your responsibility. And they're your responsibility to take care of and to make sure they're getting well nourished. And you just can't set them up for failure so early. You have to set them up for success. You have to give them a balanced diet with lots of fruits and vegetables and making sure they're getting plenty of meat in their diet and not processed meats like hot dogs and bologna. You don't put the wrong fuel into your car, so why would you put the wrong fuel into your children? That's just showing you where your priorities lie. Like I said at the start, food is emotional. It's easy to create addictions and disorders. You have to get your own diet in check as an example to your children. Don't talk bad about food in front of them, or don't talk bad about yourself after you eat. This creates those negative connotations with food that creates these disorders in children at such a young age. The fact that food is so emotional is such a dangerous thing. And that's why you have to put the time and effort into your child's diet to set them up for success. Like I said, you chose to have kids, so it's your responsibility to raise them right. And it all starts with their nutrition because that's the building block for their development. It's even harder to control these things when they get older and they're able to go to friends' houses. So choose to be the house that they spend all their time at. Be generous with healthy snacks like meats and cheeses or bananas and veggie trays. Yeah, they're expensive, but so are medical bills. Just going to the doctor alone can be hundreds of dollars. So it's worth the investment to be the house that everyone wants to be at. So you can make sure your kids are eating healthy, and you can also keep an eye on them every day. And that's worth paying the extra money to feed their friends too, because keeping an eye on your kids' nutrition is huge. It also keeps their immune system strong and out of that doctor's office. And that in return saves even more money to buy these healthy foods. Because you're going to end up paying one way or another. So why not choose to focus on your family's health? Your kids cannot do this alone. They watch you and learn from you every single day. And you have to set the foundation for them, both by investing in their health and by focusing on your own. Because if you can't do it, why would they? They look up to you as a parent and as a role model. So it's up to you to set the foundation for their health and their nutrition. And this is why you don't even have to have kids yet. You can start working towards a healthier lifestyle today. And it's not just a simple change. That's why it's a whole lifestyle, and that's why it's work. But I challenge you today to do some own little introspection into your own life, into your own nutrition, and as well as your kids if you have kids. Because every single person can make a better change for a healthier lifestyle. And I hope you can use this message as some motivation to make that change today. And on a little bit lighter and funnier note, we have another dad joke of the week. So last month, I went down to Texas to watch a NASCAR race. And even though we were in Texas, it was outside, it was 100 degrees, and it was late in the afternoon, it was still pretty cool outside. It must have been from the 50,000 fans that were there. Again, if you got a good joke and want it on the show, send me a message and see if it's good enough. You might be featured on next week's show. Before we end today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Anchor Podcasts. They distribute this podcast, you guys, in just about any platform you may try to find us on, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. All the recording, editing, and final touches are also done through Anchor, which makes getting the Primal Armor podcast out to you guys very quick, easy, and mobile. You guys can also submit questions or voice messages that I can add to our next episode. Go download the Anchor.fm app today to check out what it's all about. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.